Welcome to Flavor Balance Heat, the podcast for hot sauce lovers and makers. I'm Spike.
I'm Zac.
And I'm Claire.
And today we're talking to Scott Zalkind from Lucky Dog Hot Sauce.
What's up,
Hey,
folks?
what's going on, man?
Welcome to the shit show. Welcome to the shit show.
All right, Zac.
No fucking banter, no shit talking, no nothing. We're just diving right in.
4 a.m. You gotta get a little.
This is not how we do this, man. This is not how we do this.
I have a not banter thing, but Scott, I don't know. Are you familiar with Butterfly Bakery with me? Okay, because I'm from Berkeley. So
I didn't know that.
So like you were actually one of my early like favorite hot sauce makers that I would follow and like look up to. I visit family there every year, and at any point we can leave these two guys in the dust and we could just wax poetic about all the food in the Bay Area.
Next time you're in town, please do make another attempt. I'm usually there every Saturday. I called in fuck it yesterday because it was raining all day, but
awesome.
Woke up at the crack of 9. It was awesome. But yeah, most days I'm there. So definitely make another attempt. And yeah, I've had some Butterfly Bakery stuff,
awesome.
And it's been pretty good as well. So that's a total honor to hear that.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Awesome.
Well, I would say if we only had Tim, and I almost asked Tim to pop on here for a second, I will have 4 of my favorite hot sauce makers all in one place at one time, which would be fucking awesome. So I almost asked Tim to pop on, but then I thought I'll let him have his Sunday.
Why hot sauce, Scott? What got you into hot sauce?
Shit, that's I'll try to give a short answer to a short question. I was always a big.
So if you guys don't know, Scott is a talker.
Sometimes. I was a big spicy food fan growing up. My parents were always very adventurous eaters. Growing up in the Bay Area is just, if you're adventurous at all, you can eat 50 different kinds of cuisine, and every one of them but our own has spicy to it. So we'd go to regional Chinese restaurants, Hunan and Sichuan places. We'd hit up Indian spots and Sri Lankan spots and Thai and Vietnamese and Laotian, and the list goes on and on and on. Everyone had spicy food, all the great taquerias with the molcajete, fresh salsas. And I was a junkie as a little kid. My brother and I would dare each other to eat like the Hunan Tiansen chilies at Sichuan or at Hunan restaurants. And then after a while, it was not much of a dare. It's just, these are delicious. How many pickled jalapenos can I eat? Because they taste fucking great. And so growing up, I definitely had a passion for spicy food, and it stuck with me into young adulthood, into college, into my adult post-college life. And when I was working as a project manager in healthcare, it was stressful as hell. I was out of my mind, sleeping 2 hours a night. I kept getting promoted. I don't know why. And the closer you get to the sun, the easier it is to get burned. I had that whole Icarus thing going. I worked for the director of the pharmacy division of Kaiser Permanente, and had concurrent projects and project managers under me. And it was just a giant stress ball of pain in the ass, and I was miserable. And so I found on the weekends, I started to make hot sauce as a hobby. There was a sort of watershed moment. I'm the kind of guy that if I watch your house while you're on vacation, you don't bring me a shot glass, you bring me a bottle of hot sauce from somewhere. And so 2 things happened in about a 2-week period. One, I was watching someone's house. They brought me a bottle of the Cheech from Cheech Marin, the gnarly garlic. And if there was habanero in that sauce, they waved it over the vat. It was delicious. It was great on pizza. It was zesty. It had lots of chunks of dry roasted rehydrated garlic in it. I loved it, but it had just 0 balls, and it drove me insane that, why the fuck can't they just make this spicy? It should be spicy. It's a habanero sauce. And then about a week later, we went to a place called Windy City Barbecue in San Mateo, which is a barbecue and pizza joint. And they were one of the first restaurants I remember to have a hot sauce bar. And this was probably about 17, 18 years ago now. And extracts were kind of all the rage, kind of coming into, we've since, I think, matured a little past all the extract novelty sauces. They're still out there, but back then it was either mild and flavorful or peel paint and ruin your digestive tract for 3 weeks. And so I grabbed a bottle of something that was new and interesting and poured it on my brisket. And I ruined a $30 brisket dinner. It was a barbecue plate and just destroyed it with a nasty ass extract sauce. And I don't remember which one it was. And I don't want to name and shame because I have nothing against extract sauce novelty makers. God bless them. If it weren't for them, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I know you guys would probably not be as popular as you are, because the world was different then, right? They paved the way for folks who make, and even those guys like Dave's Gourmet is out now, and Dave kind of moved on from the insanity world and into a more food friendly arena. And so, yeah, I kind of had those two experiences back to back and went on a 5-minute rant to my friends, like, what the fuck? Why can't you have something with heat that also tastes good? Fuck it, I'm going to make hot sauce. And I was a project manager, so a lot of project management is failing up. You do postmortems on your projects. You figure what went right, what went wrong. You take copious notes. You move on to the next thing. You don't get discouraged because it tasted like ass. You just try to remove the things that tasted like ass and polish up the turd so it tastes better, right? And then eventually you get to a point where there's less turd and more delicious. And then you sort of focus on what you want to get done with your flavor profiles. And like the sculptor who chips away at the stone block so it looks like Zac or something. I'm chipping away at recipes so they taste better and better and better. And then eventually you get a recipe that tastes like what you want. And I'm super obsessive about things. It's a personal fault or strength, one of the two, depending on the day. And so, yeah, started making hot sauce as a hobby. I found that when I worked on a hot sauce all Saturday and all Sunday, I was cutting ingredients and working at my stove and smoking things in my barbecue and taking my mind completely off the things that had me sleeping 2 hours a night. And I would sleep like a baby, bring them into work, and people at work would give feedback. And after a while, the feedback was, hey, can you sell me some of this? Hey, where can I buy this? And then I'd hear from friends of friends, chefs and restaurant owners and people like that who would say, hey, you should sell this shit. And, if a popular chef at a great restaurant's telling me I should sell this stuff, maybe I should listen to that. And so after about 7.5 years, I figured, well, why not? How hard could it be? It turned out to be really hard. But I managed to get the company launched, get some sauces out. And in about 6 months, I'd won a couple of Golden Chilies in Texas and a couple Scovie Awards. And I thought, well, geez, I'm competing with the best of the best and holding up. Just why am I doing the thing that stresses me out instead of the thing that I love? And so I quit my day job, and that was super dumb because I miss having healthcare and 5 weeks paid vacation. But yeah, 11.5 years later, I've never looked back, and I wouldn't change a thing for the world. It's been, at times a struggle, but it's at least a struggle I'm doing for myself and something that I love. And there's still plenty of stress.
But it's your own stress, man, and therein lies the difference.
Right.
Your stress for someone else.
Things are mostly in my control. And if I'm going to work for a micromanaging asshole, at least it's me, right? So there.
That's it. That's everything right there. Wow, you said a lot in a very short amount of time. Yeah. That's awesome.
The question begged
awesome.
Scott can talk. Yeah.
I love it. So I have on here labels down because I forgot we started so nice. We're supposed to be feuding,
that's
remember?
Right. We'll feud
totally
when the label comes out. We'll feud over it. We'll both feud. It'll be great. Yeah. It's just great minds think alike. That's all.
That's it. So we've got a very similar label, and I'm serious. I was talking about this, and if we can make it happen, so his sauce is.
Well, it's not out yet. It's probably coming out later this year. Really, my graphic artist mind and your mind are alike because she thought of it. But it's kind of the idea was to call it Deluxe because that's a fun name. I'm sure somebody will steal it now. And she came up with the idea of sort of a playing card motif. I thought the King of Hearts was cool because he's got the sword in his head, and we could do a chili pepper in his head instead. And so we came up with a whole thing. And then Spike sent me a set of his sauces, and one of them's a fucking playing card. And I'm like, what the fuck, is this real? I'm like, well, at least it's not, the King of Hearts. It's like, no, I do have one with that. I'm like, what? So yeah, that.
And then I said it has a dog on it.
I was like, yeah, what the fuck is that?
Because his has, of course, his iconic dog, and ours has a dog on it.
Just showed you on my titty. Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Woo! I got dollars.
So we decided we're going to feud about it. But actually, what I'd like to do is, I think if you're up for it, and we'll talk about it more later, I think I'd like to buy some of your stuff wholesale and sell it as a pack on our site.
Yeah.
I think that'd be pretty cool. Just to promote it. And promote
we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk about it later. But your labels. I love your labels. You do what very few people can do. Claire does it too, which is to put graphics into your labels. I love with Claire's, there's subtle little changes in each one, and they're almost like I'm blanking on the word, but like if you have to really pay attention, oh, this is different here and this is different here. I love that. And yours are the same way, where every single one is a different version of the dog. And it's awesome. It's one of my favorite things, and I rarely like it when
I agree. I think Claire has awesome labels. I do like the Butterfly Bakery labels a lot. I've tried like 2 of your sauces, but I've seen like 20-year label, 10-year labels, however many there are. I've seen them online all over the place.
Well, I'll happily send you more sauces. And actually, it's funny. This label, I really actually want to change. I want to like just move away. I'm just, you live in that label land for too long, and you're just like, I want to change something. But the Taco Vibes label here that was on Hot Ones, we just won an award for that. And I'm like, I want to move in that direction.
Yeah, it was funny. I had originally, when I launched, I had green label. What did I have? Green at the time of the New York Hot Sauce Festival in 2014. I had green, red, orange, black, pink, and purple. Since discontinued orange and purple for various reasons. Ingredients cost went up on some. And I had lost Lucky not that long before that festival. Lucky was a real dog. He died. They don't live forever. It sucks. I didn't lose him. He's in a little box on my table. I know right where he is. He's just less fun to play Frisbee with now, and he never brings it back. It sucks. I have 2 dogs now. I can make that joke. But I was toying with the idea of the artist who I knew for a long time through another friend, Robin Case. I commissioned her to do a Dia de los Muertos version of my label as a painting, just for fun, just like as a tribute to the dog and just to hang on my wall. And I've got it over in my... So Robin Case did a Dia de los Muertos label. She asked not even a label, just a painting to honor in memoriam of Lucky. She asked what my requirements were. I said, I love sunflowers, go. And she came up with this spectacular acrylic painting on wood that's about 12 by something, and it's just stunning, and I love it. And I loved it so much, in fact, that I tattooed it on my arm as a tribute to Lucky. Now it's simplified a little; it's a little bit dumbed down. You can't see it too well in this lighting, but
I can see.
I was flying to New York with a gal who used to travel with me and work with me, City, an old friend of mine from grade school. And I was telling her, I should make this new label. This would be a really cool, like, alternative label. I can do a traditional Tomatillo Verde, and I can, use this label. And she was like, yeah, I got to New York, and after the show one night, we were at dinner with a bunch of sauce company owners. And, I had the green, the red, the orange, the purple, the pink labels. And I said, I think this might be my next label. And everyone was like, I don't know, it's kind of a bad idea. You have really consistent branding. I think that'd be a big mistake to change your branding. Like, no, I think it'd be kind of cool. And so I did the label, and the next year I entered label category at the Scovies, and I won grand prize for marketing and first place for label art. And it won me $1,000 custom barbecue, because that's the Discets, that's what you get for the grand prize there. And it sort of paid for itself, which was just super cool. And the sauce itself has won some awards, which is also nice. I like the sauce being, good tasting. But yeah, like Claire was saying, the label, I feel like the art on the outside should be as beautiful as the quality of the sauce is on the inside. It should pop on a shelf. It should stand out. I went with foil labels off the bat, because if I have a horseshoe, it should be shiny. The dull horseshoe looked weird when I did a flat version of it. And yeah, the foil labels cost a little more, like 2-3 cents each, but it's worth it. I mean, it's gotta pop. I'm not in the store to tell people about the sauce and to sing its praises and promote it. So if the sauce itself pops on the shelf, that does half the job for me, And then if people take a chance on it because of the label, maybe they love the sauce and they keep buying it. So it's a lot of desire for the product to look beautiful, and also, of course, good marketing. You got to have decent marketing, and I hope that some of what I do is quality in terms of marketing. And I always just sort of throw it out there and hope people like it. I've got a wing sauce coming out now where I'm putting a stupid hat on the dog, because I can't put a chicken on the label because I've already got a dog on the label. Big chicken hat on the dog on the label. So that's what I'm doing. So that's Clucky Dog. That's going to be out probably late January, early February. That's going to be fun.
That's awesome. My goodness. Flavor Balance Heat, the podcast for hot sauce lovers and makers, is brought to you by Irish Spike's unique hot sauces and Vandal pepper sauces. I'm Spike, the owner and executive saucier. Our sauces are handmade in the Pacific Northwest using the best possible ingredient. We believe that hot sauce equates to a balance of sensational heat coupled with a robust and complex flavor profile. Live your hottest life with Irish Spikes. Irish Spike's unique hot sauces and Vandal pepper sauces are available at saucecult.com.
So, Scott, what is the size of your operation? I mean, I think you've been in this business longer than any of us have. Is it something that you've kind of kept at a stable set, or
you are looking at my operation, speaking to all of my employees right now. It's very exciting for me too. I'm a company of one. Nice. Still, I use a co-packer. I do all of my own shipping. Behind me is my sort of home packing station where I pack up all of your wonderful orders that I get all the time and get them out. I do have a lot of wholesalers I work with where I'll ship pallets directly to them, or retailers rather, where I ship to them wholesale. Mm-hmm. I have a co-pack kitchen, Tim with Palm & Acres, that California Hot Sauce Solutions. They're fantastic. I just started working with them about a year ago and like them a whole lot. They're super fun to work with. Tim's a sauce maker. I'm a sauce maker. We text, we get along good. I like that relationship. Where is it going? It sure would be nice to not get up at 4 a.m. and do farmers markets like I did today, or at 5 what I do on Saturdays when it's not pouring rain. And eventually it'd be nice to work with a distributor. I had a distributor for a while. I was working with a guy on the East Coast. It was great. He was in a bunch of stores. He'd buy a couple pallets a month from me. And when he went kind of tits up, I was one of the people who was lucky he got paid at the end, where quite a few companies did not get paid.
I wasn't. I was not one of the lucky ones.
I tried to fly out and squeeze it out of him.
Yeah.
And soon thereafter had a check. But I was one of the early ones that smelled trouble, I guess, because I started getting on him pretty hot and heavy and frequently, and finally got him on the phone. I feel for the guy. I know he had some medical, psychiatric issues, don't we all? But at the end of the day, you still have to pay the people that you get stuff from, and it sucked that a lot of people got burned.
Well, and I actually sent him to collections, and the collections agency did some research into him, and apparently he's done this 3 times before. So
I feel more sorry for the people that got burned, really, because I know quite a few of them personally.
Yeah.
Now I know.
Well, and I mean, I got burned a good chunk of change, but Heartbeat, yeah. They posted on social media. I don't know how that didn't just drive them under. Like, that is just insane.
Heard from them.
And I also knew.
Oh, go ahead.
I also knew when I wasn't getting paid. So he had an employee with the same name as me, and I would occasionally get the emails meant for the employee. And there were order emails, and there was a sauce maker I recognized, didn't know particularly well, but I kind of, regional here. And I was just like, let me just give him a call and say, like, people aren't getting paid. You may not want to send this out. And this guy was just like, well, thanks for letting me know. I'm sorry that happened to you.
And probably got burned too. It seemed like it was a whole borrowing from Peter to pay Paul thing, where some vendors had him on net 60 and then he'd get an order in for a new product from a new vendor, and then he'd use the check from that to pay the people he owed from a year ago. And then it just eventually that Ponzi scheme is going to crash and burn, because you run out of people to borrow from and pay to. So it just, that whole thing was a mess.
And I would say, because he's done this before in the hot sauce area, that we should all keep an eye out for him surfacing under a new name, because we should call him out the moment he shows up. Well, with big orders now,
because of that situation, I got a lot smarter. I have had a couple solicitations for pallet size orders, and I say, great. So your first order is pay in advance, and as soon as the check clears, I'll make the sauce and ship it out in 3 weeks, and you'll have it 3 weeks from the day that your check clears, and that. Yeah.
Every first order of ours,
no matter what size,
first order is always paid in advance, regardless.
I still give people, I trust people enough for net 15 or net 30, depending on the size out the gate. They're hopefully or more. Well, it depends. If they have a brick and mortar that has a reputation, then I tend to give a lot more faith that they're going to come through. Right.
I did make allowance for one customer once who was like, our system's not set up. We can't do it. We can't. And, wow. And I never got paid.
Like, you knew it.
And it was like $500 or something. It wasn't huge, but like it was enough. And it was a legitimate company. And I honestly, every time I would call, they would be like, I have no idea what happened. Let me dig in. And then like nothing. Finally, after 2 years, I wrote it off.
Yeah. And that's kind of the dark side of being a small business, right? Is you have to have a lot of trust, or you have to be overly paranoid and risk turning people off. And what really sucks, if I can go on a little tangent, is that over the 11 years I've been doing this, 11 and a half now, I've had several occasions where things go into, like, I have you on net 30 and it's 60 days, and I'm like, hey, you're a month late. Do you mind covering the spend? And then you go back and forth, chasing down the bill. And like, sometimes it's a good customer. I won't name in shame because I try not to do that. But I had a really good customer who bought from me 3 or 4 times and paid every time. And I guess they went through some crisis. You know, they had some personal stuff come up and it put a hitch in their giddy up, and that happens. I get it. And so I was kind of, you know, there's a fine line between harassing somebody and chasing down a payment. I don't want to harass anybody, but I got bills to pay too. And I sent you sauce and you owe me money. It is what it is. It's just business.
I ain't got no fucking qualms about blowing
it's not
someone
personal.
up.
And so with a customer who's been a good customer for a couple of years, you know, I don't want to blow up that relationship.
Yeah.
And what sucks is it's almost inevitable that it's going to blow up the relationship because they feel bad about it. And now it's like you're getting screwed twice because not only like, maybe you got the money eventually, but if they stop buying from you, that hurts you too, right? So you want to, I don't know, there's a fine line. You gotta maintain the relationship while also, you know, collecting what they owe you. Unfortunately, to this day, I've got most of like 99% of my invoices have been paid.
I mean, I'm in the.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was going to say, I actually had one that for a year and a half wasn't paid. And finally, when we were coming up on the end of the year, and we tried every which way and it wasn't happening. And at the end of the year, this year, I was closing up things and I was like, you know what, I'm going to write this one off, close off the year. And we close it off. And without us asking, we just given up on this. Wow. 2 weeks later, they paid it.
Miracles happen.
Just out of nowhere. Even my bookkeeper was like, "What is this?"
My longest running one, I got a phone call and they explained that, hey, we're going through some stuff. We had some medical stuff. I went, just call me. Just tell me that. You know, do it before you're late. Just call me up. We're all just people here.
Exactly.
We've been working together for 3 years. Just give me a heads up. And I'll totally be like, great, pay me in 90 days or pay me in 100, whatever's good for you. But at least allow me the opportunity to be cool about it. Instead of me being the heavy that's got to call you up and say, hey, you're 6 months late on your payment. I'm going to send you collections. What the fuck? You know, I don't want to be that guy. Nobody wants to be that guy. I just want to make sauce and sell sauce. It's an easy gig. I want a stress-free life of making sauce and selling sauce. So, you know.
I've recently turned on QuickBooks alerts so that it automatically emails people when they're approaching their due date and after their due date. Yeah, and it is the best. People just pay so much more promptly. And it's not even me being an asshole. It's just automatic.
Like there's turnover in grocery stores, right? There's turnover in receiving departments and there's turnover in AP and in QuickBooks Online. You've got the email address of whoever you were was the person that you were supposed to send from the jump. And so just recently I had one where, holy crap, this store's never been late before. What's going on? I pick up the phone. I gave him a call. We're so kind of programmed now to go straight to the email, you know, flame, where's my money, you know, kind of thing, you know, but there's still a human touch that can help. So I picked up the phone, called him up. Oh yeah, Ben transferred over to this store in, you know, Idaho. And he's not with us. This is your contact now. So my email went into a black hole basically. Now it's on the store. On it, at the end of the day, they should have let me know, hey, your new point of contact for accounts receivable is this, which would have been much more helpful to me. But wires get crossed, things get forgotten. I get it. And so, you know, in this case, it was just a simple cross wires, and they paid me 4 days after I got a hold of the person who actually worked in accounts receivable now. So I try to start out optimistically that oh, well, maybe it's just a simple misunderstanding. And oftentimes it is, which is nice. It helps restore a little of my faith in humanity. I didn't have that much to begin with.
Still don't.
I do the. Well, I do the. I set the alarms on it to go off, you know, to send them a reminder that they. But one of the other things that I do is I lie. So anybody listening to this, I will tell them. So it's automatic. So because what I do is when somebody doesn't pay in time, it goes to once a week. I send it, and then when it gets to a certain point, it's twice a week I send it, and I've gotten to once a day. They get so annoyed that they pay it.
Just stop emailing me already.
But my favorite thing is I always say, oh, well, my invoicing system does that automatically.
So your question originally was, you know, where's my company going? How big am I? And so I would like to eventually get with another distributor. That would be nice. To this point, I've talked to a few, and a lot of them are sort of, they want to be glorified delivery people and charge you 40% for the privilege. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, I'll take your sauce to all the stores you're already doing business with and take 40% for the trouble. Well, I can fucking do that. I'm already doing that, right? So I sell through Fair. I'm international through Fair now, which is nice. I'm in France and Spain and a couple other spots. I have a client in Norway that I ship a pallet to about once a year. And yeah, Scandinavia is not exactly known for their fire faces, but in the land of the blind, the man with one eye is king. So when you have a small hot sauce shop in a place where there is nothing spicy, those few people, that 1% that's spicy in all of Scandinavia, will gravitate towards your store. And so my stuff does pretty well there. So I have shockingly a large following in Norway. Who knew, right? Yeah. I've always wanted to go see the fjords.
I'm Claire George. I own Butterfly Bakery of Vermont. We make hot sauce, mustard, cookies, and granola, and 100% of our products are made with Vermont ingredients. The thing that I hear most often from people is that my hot sauce tastes like the peppers that are in it. We do really simple recipes that don't get too crazy and nitpicky, just to really accentuate the flavor of the peppers that are in there. The unique thing about our hot sauces is how much we feature the farm and the relationship with the farm, and really bring the terroir of Vermont to our hot sauces. I am pretty sure I am the #1 purchaser of Vermont-grown chili peppers. I would love it if there would be a legitimate pepper market in Vermont where people would know Vermont for its peppers. We're all better for supporting each other. You know, and I think that part really shows itself with the collaborations that I do with the other businesses and the other farms, that I love working together and coming up with new ideas and presenting each other with new challenges. And I think overall that's the attitude here, and I absolutely love it because that's my attitude. I try to live my life with love. The ingredients that I use, I would say that my values are reflected in that, that I use ingredients that, again, feel good, feel loving, feel supportive. The relationship with the farmer was how it all began. If I changed the reason for it being, if I went out and bought some commodity peppers, you know, it might not be as good.
You can find Butterfly Bakery of Vermont hot sauce, mustard, granola, and cookies at butterflybakeryvt.com.
Do you have any favorite sauce makers and least favorite sauce makers, or style of sauces? You don't have to call anybody out. You can if you want to.
In this case, I don't mind naming names. I will never say who my least favorite sauce makers are, but if you ever see me at a festival going booth to booth and I try a sauce and the statement out of my face hole is, "That's interesting," I don't like that sauce at all. I don't know what you would do with it. I don't know how you would use it, whether you shampoo your hair with it or douche with it, whatever, but it's not food. So if you hear me say, "That's interesting," that's always a euphemism, always. I will give very specific feedback when I love a sauce. When I hate a sauce, I'll either say, "That's interesting," or I'll say, "Not for me, but I'm sure someone would enjoy it." That is my half husky doing husky things. I don't know if you can hear that in the background. But yep. Domino's letting me know that it's almost dinner time.
A little bit.
So would you like a treat? I can shut you up for a minute. You can edit this part out.
If there's a dog,
my young dog is super calm and mellow. My Pitsky is this ridiculous thing. Where is she? Let's see if we can get her on there. Wait. That's Rocky. He's the good boy.
I see him.
And there's Domino. Why can't I? There she is. That's the Pit Husky mix. You should never cross anything with a husky because you're going to get dumb and stubborn and stupid and obnoxious and talking. So, but she's all love and joy. She has a very big heart. She's a really good girl. She's just a whiner. So, favorite sauce makers. I have a lot of favorite sauce makers, and I hope that I don't leave anybody out. I'm sure I will, because my list is probably 50 or 60 long. Mikey V's, love Mikey V's. Born to Hula I go way back with Born to Hula. They're great people, great sauces. I was a huge fan of Big Fats. I'm sad that Jeremy and Kat are no longer doing it because they had a bunch of really good sauces that I love. Currently, Funky's. Love everything Funky's does. They're great folks and make awesome sauces and are totally deserving of every award that they're getting these days. I think they just took a couple big awards at the New York Hot Sauce Expo. He beat me in the stupid cook-off in Oregon. I was pissed about that. I lost to him by 2 votes. But no, great sauces. Who else? Charman out of Ojai, California. Love everything Charman does. Yeah. Their sauces are fantastic. I was really lucky. I in Berkeley, where Claire's from, there was a Heat Hot Sauce Shop, who I think carries some of your guys' stuff too. All of you, yeah. And so they used to have a brick and mortar where you could go in and taste stuff. So I got to try so many sauces in that place that I would not have otherwise been exposed to. I've been doing I used to do 12 festivals a year. Now I'm down to about 3. But at those festivals, I would always take time to go try all the new sauce maker stuff and fell in love with a lot of brands. There's just so much good stuff out there. Like I said, I feel bad because there are so many sauce companies that I'm going to not mention right here. And I feel bad for not, because they're all so great. Which is one that's right here that I loved recently? Oh, the where is it? The Almond Acres, obviously, and Smoke and Jay's is good stuff. I have just recently tried some of the Irish Spikes stuff that I really enjoyed. I have those on my counter right here. Obviously, High Desert makes good stuff. That's yours. High River Sauce Company, love them. I don't know if you guys knew of Race City Sauce Works, a guy named Chad Locock. He used to do a lot of festivals. I haven't seen his stuff in a while, but he at one point got fairly big. He was in all the Bed Bath & Beyonds and places like that. And he, K. John Hard once said, the first year to the New York Hot Sauce Expo, K. John said that Chad has discontinued more award-winning sauces than most companies will ever have. And that's a fact. He just knocks off his lowest seller every year and comes out with something new, and they're all awesome. And for a while, he got into doing like some elixirs, like mixed drink stuff, where he had a chocolate, what was it? Chocolate caramel, spicy something for mixed drinks to line the glass with. And fuck, he made some good stuff. Lots of interesting stuff. But his hot sauces were fantastic. He had a really, really, really good hot sauce. I'm not sure if he's still around, but I liked his stuff a lot. Crazy Good. They were a company I think stopped making sauce a couple years ago. They were one of my favorites. There's just so many. I could pretty much take up 40 minutes of your podcast just listing sauces that I enjoyed. The list of sauces I hated, fortunately, is much shorter, and I forget about them very quickly because I hated them. So, there's stuff out there that I know some people would like. And look, some of it's just personal preference, right? Like, I am not a fan at all of red jalapenos. I detest red jalapenos. I think they taste like rotten fucking
It's my favorite pepper.
You would probably love 1, red jalapeno sauces, 2, Merita Chipotle sauces. I can't stand either of those things.
Actually, I don't know if I've had a Merito Chipotle. I love Chipotles, but the Merito Chipotle, I'm not positive I've had.
So. They're smoked for 6 to 8 hours. They're basically, so Chipotles red jalapenos are overripe green jalapenos, as you know. The Chipotle makers buy them at their cheapest price because they want to make more money, right? So when a jalapeno turns red and then it gets those little red cracks on them right before it falls on the ground and rots in a pile, that's what they turn into Chipotles, because they're cheap. They have no shelf life. They buy them and smoke them the same day typically, or within a couple days. The velocity is so short on those. And so to me, the Merita has a lot of that funky, rotten red jalapeno flavor, which is really strong to my palate. And God bless you if you like them. More for you. I don't judge. It's fine. I don't think you're a lesser person or a worse human being because you like.
I won't send you any of our Chipotle. We don't get the rotten ones, but I love.
But when you smoke the Chipotle for like 18 to 20 hours, it smokes out all that red jalapeno flavor, and then you get a Meco Chipotle, and those are the Chipotles I use in my sauces. And again, no judgment. There's a judgment-free zone. We're all friends here. It's just a personal preference. The point is, you're going to like things that I don't like, and I'm going to like things you guys don't like, and that's fine. It's great. 100%. What defines a good hot sauce is completely personal, right? It's what I like to eat and what heat levels I'm comfortable with, and sometimes it's the mood I'm in that day, and it changes from day to day what heat level I want or what flavor profile I want, and then it changes meal to meal. Like even with my own lineup, there are sauces I wouldn't put on some foods that I would on others. And if I have that pairing, it's going to be great. And if I'm forcing a pairing, then maybe it's not going to work as well, right? So it's all about personal preference. And that's the beautiful thing about hot sauce. You can give the 4 of us 10 ingredients and we'll come up with 4 vastly different hot sauces with different heat levels and different salt levels and different acid levels and different profiles. And some will be more simple or more complex or have 10 ingredients or have 3 of those ingredients or whatever. We're all going to come up with different things. We all have different palates, right? And so there are so many sauce companies out there I love. And if I just named a bunch, if anyone's listening who makes hot sauce professionally and I didn't name you, try me out, send me some sauce. Chances are I'll love it. I'll post about it. But yeah, I do want to try it. I don't mean to leave anybody out. I hate when I leave people out.
You didn't mention Tim.
Yeah, he's right before he said Jay's.
Yeah, they're my co-packer. I don't want to kick me out or anything. Just kidding. I like all this stuff.
I was writing them down, so I probably missed it.
The one I haven't tried yet, they sent me this not long ago.
The mustard?
Where is it? Well, I haven't opened this Ghost of Saffron yet. This is a pretty good one, I've heard. So I can't wait to open that fucker. But since I have Heats of Peach, man. Tim made Smoke a Peach, which I thought was like,
Yeah,
buddy,
I've got
but he did
that
it as a
one. It's
limited.
so
I know
good.
you've had it. That is on my next to try list. Those two are next. That's why they're on my counter. They're next up. I have a shelf.
I heard the guy that makes that Ghost of Saffron uses black market
Does he?
saffron.
Yeah, that's
so
rough.
be careful.
I heard he's
might
kind of
die.
a dick, but you know.
Oh, he's an asshole, dude.
Just unrelated to hot sauce, you know.
I'm not shy, but I'm not
now I want
shy
to go
about
look at
it.
my shelf to find all the names that I forgot to mention.
After you've mentioned that, I've got, now that we've gone through all the sauces, I'm gonna go the other direction. So your desert island hot
Desert
sauce.
Island? I don't know.
Let me set the scene.
You got
So
I'm on it.
yeah, you're on a desert island. The ship is sunk. Now listen, you get all kinds of different food from the ship floats ashore. So you get a pretty wide cuisine, but there's only one pallet of sauce on the ship. Now you can pick a couple of different ones you would hope that one pallet would be. What would it be?
That's a fucked up question.
Can't be one of yours, and we prefer it not be
Such
one of
a fucked
ours.
up question. I mean, I would probably go to my original Black Label. That's a super versatile sauce. It's got enough heat that I can pour more on and get a little lit up with those fresh scorpions in there, but it's delicate enough because I'm on a desert island. I need to catch seafood to eat. So with the seafood, it pairs great with like.
Do you have somebody else's sauce that
if it was somebody else's,
like something made by somebody else? Yeah.
Which one did I go through?
And I'll tell you why I do this. Because I have this thing about the breadth of a sauce. Like I make sauces sometimes that'll go on one type of food and people will use it on other things. But like we've got a ramen hot sauce that's made for ramen. But I also think that there's other sauces that are made to go on a lot of a lot of different cuisines. And I'm interested in that. And I'm kind of curating what people say. And what I find funny is people that aren't hot sauce makers have an answer like that. People that are hot sauce makers go,
it's really hard to choose. I love literally thousands of hot sauces. That's not an exaggeration. 11 and a half years of doing festivals and trying everything that there is. I've probably tried more hot sauces than most reviewers out there, because I'm out there trying them at the festival and trying every sauce of everyone's lineup that's out there. Oh, and now I feel bad because I forgot to mention. Fat Cat, which is Isle Goldschmidt. He's out on the East Coast. Funny story. We both launched, I think, the same year. I'm California. He's Florida, so opposite sides of the country. We both had color-based labels, like he's got red and white and gold and whatever, and he has various names. And I have green, red, orange, black, purple. I have a dog theme. He has a cat theme. And then we talked on the phone once, and we've been friends ever since. And we love each other's sauces. He's got a killer bacon sriracha that's fucking awesome. So Fat Cat's one that I love. Hoagie is a sauce company that I really like these days. Down to Ferment were my neighbors at the show in Albuquerque this year, and I loved everything they had. And Rising Smoke, love their sauces a lot. That's the one I was trying to remember. And but to your question of the desert island sauce that I don't make, the first one that came to mind, I'm just going to spit it out. It was the Ghost of Ancho by Born to Hula. That's a really, really solid, hot sauce. It's got kind of a Louisiana slant to it, so it's super versatile. It goes on anything. One of those kind of higher acid sauces, but it's a sort of silky acid. It's not a bitey acid. And it's just got a simple sauce with layers and depth and a good heat level and a good flavor profile that'll go on almost anything. So other than my Black Label, I would go with that one.
That's awesome. So my desert island hot sauce actually is Claire's cilantro onion. But yours would be.
He knows that there's a half gallon coming.
Your Pero Afortunado would be, except that it would it would not work on some cuisines for me.
It's definitely more of a very specific.
It's the only difference. Otherwise, both of those sauces are like two of my favorites.
That one actually went back to back for the mild to medium category at the Scovie Awards. It was funny. I went 8 years or 9 years. I forget how long I've been entering that one. I think 9 years. For years, I only ever won seconds and thirds at the Scovies. And I thought, well, shit, the New Mexico judges just don't like my stuff. But, like the definition of an insanity, I kept doing the same thing and hope for different results. So every year, it's actually new judges every year. So I thought, well, I'll enter different categories. I mixed it up a little. And then the year that I finally won a first place was I entered 4 things. I only entered 4 sauces in 4 categories. And I won 4 first place and the grand prize for tasting with Year of the Dog. So, different things do happen when you do the same thing over and over. And then in the years since, I had never won while I had won a grand prize, which was awesome, I had never won one of the big kind of 3 categories, the mild to medium, the hot, or the extra hot to triple X, which have, you know, so many dissimilar sauces in them. I think I was told there's over 100 entries in each of those categories, because what's mild to medium? Everything, every flavor profile, as long as it's in that heat range, it gets entered in that category. And I reformulated El Perro Fortunato. It was a vinegar-based sauce, and I never was really that enamored with it. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was up to my standards. So I finally said, fuck it, and reformulated. I added fresh pasilla as the dominant flavor. I switched to a fermented cayenne base, which changes everything instead of a vinegar-based sauce. Added New Mexico red chili to give it a little depth of character, because it was kind of missing a bottom end. A teeny bit of black pepper to do this kind of the same thing. And then a little bit of a ghost, so you get a little creep on it. Because I like Tabasco Cholula, or not Tabasco, Tapatio Valentino Cholula. You know, by the time you're halfway through your food, if you pour more on, it just gets saltier and more vinegary. It never will get hotter, because it's just a cayenne sauce. It can't. Yeah. And the human body has this amazing quality where we build that tolerance to things immediately. So it drove me insane that the sort of over-the-counter picante sauces, you pour them on, it's just salty and sour. It never gets hot. So I thought that little bit of ghost to be a nice creep to fight you back a little as you're eating the sauce. You get that little bit of glow going. It never kind of gets hot. It just goes from medium to like mediumer, which isn't a word, but just roll with it. It's my medium sauce. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Still not a
it's
word.
Fantastic. I really that's the thing about it. Yeah. We did my staff and I we've been getting so many hot sauces from this
scavenging in my plant
that my staff and I sat around and tasted all of them, because I wanted to see what else was out there. They're so used to just tasting our sauces all the time. And everybody wanted yours, because I bought another bottle a couple weeks ago. Well, 3 weeks ago. I think it's gone now. But everybody wanted to take that one home, because I was letting them take some home. And I was like, nope, that one's mine.
I love it. So I'm almost your desert island sauce is what you're saying, Dick.
Almost, yeah.
So, Scott, what or who inspires you in the hot sauce world?
I get inspired all the time by all kinds of things. I get inspired by a pretty sunset and walking my dogs on the beach. No, I get inspired by farmers market ingredients. When I'm walking around at the market and I see something new or interesting, I think, wow, that'd be a fun sauce if I could put it together like this. I get very stream of consciousness about creating sauces. I was drinking Drake's 1500, sitting on my couch watching the Warriors in the playoffs 2 years ago now. 3 years ago? Almost 3 years ago. And I was thinking, God, I love the citrus notes in this beer. This is just it's like a really nice, refreshing. It's hot. You know, it's a good beer for that kind of day. And just as I'm watching the game and drinking this beer, I started thinking, God, this would be good with like a little mandarin orange and maybe a little like habanero. And I've always wanted to use red Savina habanero. I love that pepper. And then I could use a little horseradish. I've never used horseradish in a sauce. That'd be fun. And just sitting on my couch, all this is just sort of, I don't know if you're a fan of Time Bandits, where the guy, I have an idea forming in my brain. That was how I felt. Like it was just sort of coming together. And I woke up the next day and I had an email from, well, I'd already ordered that night. I went, oh, fuck it. And I went to Magic Plant, ordered a gallon of red Savina habanero to play with, and ordered a couple dry ingredients from Spice Jungle, and was just going to play with it as a hobby sauce, because that'd be fun, right? And I had an email from Hedonist saying, hey, we have an opening in a November box. Are you working on anything new? I didn't lie. I said, yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm working on a sauce with habanero and beer. And it's like, great, we'll take 26,000 bottles. I'm like, oh, shit, now I have to actually make this fucking sauce. So then I started, thank God I ordered some ingredients. So I started scrambling and got together with the guys at Drake's, the owners. I got bumped up to the owners after talking to a manager. And they were a little concerned what I want to do with their IP, the logos. I said, I just want to put the logo on the bottle so people know I'm using your beer, and local is local and blah, blah, blah. And after a while, they ended up saying, well, hey, instead of selling you the beer, why don't we just give you the beer? I'm like, you want to give me 17 kegs of beer? What the? Yeah, we'll give you the beer and you give us back hot sauce and trade. And then we don't have to deal with any taxes or anything like that. We just nice in-kind trade, and then we'll start selling your hot sauce. I'm like, this just keeps getting better and better. And if anybody tells you that sitting around drinking beer on your couch and watching basketball is a waste of time, worked for me. But that's just a great example of inspiration. Thing. You never know where it's going to come from. And sometimes it's successful and sometimes it's not. The opposite of that is when I made Year of the Dog. I was working on that sauce because I was working on Brown Label, my mustard chipotle. It was the first mustard sauce I'd made. And only to this date, other than there's some mustard in Year of the Dog now. But I was stirring the pot on what I thought was probably my final prototype. I was really honing in on what I thought was a really good chipotle sauce with mustard, my first chipotle. And I poured off a little into a ramekin to let it cool, as one does, to try a little of the in progress sauce to see if it's where I think it's going to be. And as I'm stirring the pot, it's on my palate, and I'm thinking, God, I really like the way the mustard plays in this sauce, and I could use Chinese mustard in another sauce, and I could go with kind of an Asian style, and I could call it Year of the Dog. And I mean, that literally all came to me all together. And then I thought I could use plums for sweetness and mandarin for citrus, because those are super cliche Asian notes. And I was like, all right, cool. That's going to be my next sauce. I'm going to play with that. And I started playing with it. And a funny thing happened. When you cook plums, it turns into spicy prune juice, and nobody fucking wants spicy prune juice. And it was disgusting. And no matter how much I worked on that sauce, it was fucking terrible. So I scrapped the whole idea of the plums and the mandarin. And that's when I went to Thai chili pineapple, because I always wanted to do a Thai chili pineapple sauce. And I got damn lucky, because the Thais also used the Chinese horoscope, so I could keep the name the same, because Year of the Dog is also in the Thai horoscope. So it worked out just fine. But that was the sauce that ended up on Hot Ones and won grand prize for tasting it at the Scovie Awards. And that sauce was fully inspired by working on another sauce and just stream of consciousness thinking about the mustard. And, you know, it's not like I try other people's sauces and get inspired, but the El Perro Fortunato that Spike was talking about, that was really just me wanting to make a better picante sauce that people don't mind paying $10 a bottle for. Because let's face it, Cholula can sell a bottle for cheaper than I can make one, because they have those economies of scale. They're a subsidy of the Jose Cuervo Tequila Company, so they've got deep, deep, deep pockets and can sell it at a loss if they want to, just because it always was a promo to help sell them some more shitty tequila, right? I mean, that was the whole way that Cholula came about. Tapatio was the original of that sort of style. I grew up with Valentina Black Label at home when I was a kid, but that sort of simple 3-note salt, vinegar, pepper sauce just doesn't really interest me. But I love picante. I love the whole Molcajete style picante sauce. Lovely singing voice. And so I started working on that with the idea of, well, you know, I'm going to make this more complex and gourmet than I can get in a $2 bottle of picante off the shelf. And when I finally finished the prototype, or what I thought was finished, it was still kind of lacking something. And so I got the idea of tossing in fire roasted tomato. And I hate to say it, Taco Bell fire sauce, man. It's the only sauce at Taco Bell that doesn't suck ass. Like, all their other sauces are fucking terrible. I don't know how that's possible that they make one decent tasting sauce and the rest are garbage. Like, you'd think they know what decent tastes like, because they have one that's decent. But that fire roasted tomato was a killer idea. Totally stole it from them, put it in El Perro, and that was it. That was when I felt like that sauce was really finished. When I got that sort of fire sauce vibe to it. I hate to say that, because I think mine's much more complex than that sauce is. That's not a deep or gourmet or grown up picante. But I liked the idea of sort of a Cholula-ish sauce or Tapatio-ish sauce with a little more character and a little more depth. So that's the only, if I ripped off anything from any sauce maker ever, that's the one, right? But you're inspired by everything. I've been eating hot sauce since I was 5. So I can't say I'm not inspired by other sauces. That would be a lie, right? Because there are components of some that I like. I just started using the little dried roasted garlic chips in sauce that you put in after you blend the sauce. And I was talking to, when I made Chrome, I used those in there for the first time in a sauce, and was talking to the guys at Hedonist and said, yeah, so I'm doing this with the dry roasted garlic chips. It gives a lot of texture. He's like, yeah, they call those treasures. And I had no idea that had a name. I didn't know that. Treasures. I mean, it's kind of makes sense, but I guess little chunks of things in a sauce are called treasures in the industry. I did not know that. But that was a fun one. And of course, there are other sauces, the Cheech that I mentioned earlier. That was the first sauce I ever had that had chips of dry roasted garlic that rehydrated in the sauce. It's a thinner sauce, so it's fun to put in something that gives it texture, so it's not just all sort of watery, that when you get it in your mouth, you've got a little chunkiness to it. Even though the sauce isn't as viscous as my other sauces, it has that texture that tricks your brain into thinking it's a little thicker than it is.
Yeah, we do the same thing with a lot of our sauces. I like that
great.
Garlic. So
I'm a garlic junkie. Yeah, people come to my booth. Do you have anything with no garlic? I'm like, keep stepping, brother. It's just, I'm not the sauce for you.
Nope.
So Spike, myself, and Claire are going to collab on a $100 hot sauce. And we are basically getting inspiration in a way from our guest, whether it be an ingredient or a process that you think would warrant a $100 bottle of hot sauce.
If you would tenderly massage my shoulders while I eat the hot sauce, I would pay $100 for that bottle of hot sauce. Short of that, and it has to be you tenderly massaging my shoulders, Zach, not nobody else. No, and only if it's consensual. By the way, we don't force anything on anyone these days.
Yeah, I figured as much.
Serious answer. the cliche answer you're going to get from people is probably truffles, because everybody goes fucking nuts over truffles, and they're very expensive.
No,
I am not a mushroom fan.
Nobody on this
I'm
podcast likes
truffles.
truffles.
Fan. I think they taste like dirt, and I don't want them on my food. I don't want truffle fries. I don't want truffle sauce. Yeah. No offense to Truff. God bless them. They're doing their thing, and I respect it.
All of the offense to Truff. All of the offense to Truff.
I'm not a truffle guy. I mean,
side note. Do you guys see Truff's coming out with a green sauce, and it literally looks like baby shit?
I saw some ad for it. Yes, I saw a little promotional thing for a new magical mystery sauce. I'm actually going to come out with the sauce that Spike alluded to earlier, which is deluxe, and that's going to have. It's not going to be a limited edition sauce, but I had a woodworking company work up a felt lined box with a clear plexiglass etched screen to display. And they'll be signed and numbered 001 to 150, and wax dipped with a paw print stamp like I used to do back in my hobby days. But the sauce won't be limited, just the set. And I'll probably do like about $100 for a bottle, and then the boxed bottle. And so you get one to eat and one to collect, right? I haven't really done a true collectible in 11 plus years. I've had a lot of people asking for a collectible. But for just a pure $100 hot sauce, I mean, you probably want to get fancy with the ingredients. You want to do like a champagne vinegar maybe. You want to do something absolutely unique that nobody's ever done before. That would be one piece of feedback I would offer, is if I can go buy it for $10, why am I going to buy yours for $100? So come out of the gate with something nobody's ever seen or tried or tasted. And
well, it's going to be very limited. It's not going to be mass produced. Right. And like
50 bottles, handmade,
And I outvoted you on that 50 bottles.
Right, 100 bottles. So whatever you get, 200 bottles, 500, whatever you guys do, 500 bottles, whatever it is in the end, just make sure that it's of the quality where I, as a consumer, would be satisfied that I paid $100. I don't want to open a sauce, pour it on my food and go, fuck, I paid $100 for that. I have that experience with some $12 bottles, right? So I definitely don't want that with a $100 bottle. So I would just say be unique and purposeful, and don't use an ingredient because it sounds interesting. Like, one of my biggest pet peeves with any food product, and especially hot sauce, like, I am not one of those, it's got to have 7 ingredients or less, or that's such horseshit. It has as many ingredients as it needs, or it's like the wizard who's never late and always arrives exactly on time in Tolkien's work, right? That's Gandalf. Make the Gandalf of sauce.
You're a nerd. You are a giant nerd, and I love it.
It's got 15 ingredients. I was a horticulture major, dude. When you grow plants for a living, you got to be able to. If it has 15 ingredients, that's great, as long as I can taste the 15 ingredients. But don't tell me it's a scorpion, reaper, and ghost sauce with black garlic and shallots, because I'm not going to fucking taste the black garlic and shallots, because all I'm going to taste is 3 million Scoville units, right? If it's stupid fucking hot, you're just telling me ingredients to sell me the sauce. If I can't taste the ingredients, what's the point of using them? And so be purposeful. If the ingredients are in there, Domino, shut your cake hole. That hole you put cake in, shut it. Sorry, that was the Pitsky again, vocalizing. Be purposeful with whatever you do, and if it has an ingredient, no matter how fancy or not. I'm tempted to use squid ink in a sauce. It would turn off the vegans, but fuck them. But that would be a fun ingredient if it tastes good and if it tastes interesting. I know it would look interesting, right? And it's an interesting ingredient, but if it looks interesting but tastes like shit, then I don't want to use it, right? Or if it looks interesting and gets blown out by whatever sauce heat level I'm using, I also don't want to use it. So depending on what I'm using, like I'm working on that deluxe is going to be a black garlic sauce with probably a fermented red Scotch bonnet base. But I don't want to make it so hot or so complex that I drown out the black garlic. I've had a few black garlic sauces that I really didn't like because they didn't taste like black garlic to me. They tasted like everything else that's in the sauce with a whisper of black garlic. I want you to beat me over the head with a stick of black garlic if there's black garlic in the sauce, So that's my 2 cents on your $100 sauce, and the massage and the hand job. Don't forget, those two are critical to me buying it. I'm not your target customer, I don't think.
No, I was just asking if you had an ingredient or like a process that you think would help warrant a $100 bottle of hot sauce.
I know I spoke in all generalisms to avoid that. I tried to dance
champagne vinegar.
Yeah,
right?
And now you're not letting me. I did say champagne vinegar. Yep. Yeah, that's a fun ingredient. I do like that ingredient. And then I would try to make sure that it has an appeal, like you have a target audience for it. So is it a collectible that you expect to be Trojaner's hot sauce?
Yeah.
Where, yes, it could either be the best or the shittiest hot sauce imaginable, but nobody's ever going to open it because it's a collectible, so they'll never know, right? That's like the entire Blair's lineup, right? Is the little bottle of something that nobody's ever going to open. So he could be putting, again, squid ink and extract of peppers in a bottle, and it won't matter because it's just wax sealed and it's collectible, and they're going to resell it or whatever. And I'll never that's the petrified cat under a stack of newspaper sauce, right? Like the hoarders have on those shows. No offense to Vic Klinko, who has the most amazing collection ever, but outside of Vic, like if you don't have the biggest collection in the world, eat the fucking hot sauce you buy. That's another pet peeve. Like people ask me to sign bottles. I'm like, so you're going to save the bottle and eat the sauce, right? Like, yeah. And I know some of them didn't, because people send me pictures of sauce from 10 years ago that I signed that they put on their shelf and it died. And somehow that bothers me. Like, dude, I made a great sauce. Eat the fucking sauce. So, but I don't judge. Each to their own. It is what it is. You can collect if you want.
All right. So I think we've already done this, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. Do you have any? So in general, hot takes on hot sauce. I think truffle was your.
I'm not a big fan
take.
of truffles, but that's again, like I mentioned earlier about what I like versus you like. My face hole is different than your face hole. My palate is different than your palate. What I pair it with is going to be different than what you pair it with. So each to their own. I know people who absolutely adore truffles, and I don't judge them for the worst for it. God bless them. That more for them, right? I'm not a big fan of olives either, and
I judge them.
I love everything that I've ever tried inside the olive.
The best.
I like pimentos. I like blue cheese. I like stuff the olive. Give me the stuffing. I'll eat that. You can have the olive. If there are olives on a combo pizza, I can flick them off. I can eat them. They don't taste bad, terrible to me. They just distract me from the good flavors that I do like on a combo pizza. I like the salami and the bell peppers and all those other ingredients a lot more, and I find the olives to be very distracting because they're salty and I'm a little salt averse. And so that we each have our thing, right? So I would never use olives in a sauce because I don't fucking love olives. But if you love olives, go make an olive sauce and sell it. And I guarantee you there's a million motherfuckers that love olives that will buy your olive sauce, right? Or the fucking brine.
I love olives.
Yeah, see?
I love olives.
Yeah, perfect. More for you. That's great. Night. I will never eat that pizza. You could not pay me to eat that pizza. It just is not for me. It is what it is. My entire fucking family goes gaga over olives. My mom, mushrooms too. I'm very sensitive to mushrooms. I love olive oil, right? Not the Popeye female character, but actual cooking with olive oil. I love dipping bread in oil and balsamic, and I cook with olive oil daily. I love olive oil. It's very subtle. It's just the olive is too intense for me by itself. It's a little strong for my palate and really salty depending on there are some low salt olives I've had that I'm like, yeah, this is okay, but I'd rather eat something else than this. And mushrooms. I'm not huge on mushrooms. There are mushrooms I can eat, the ones in China, little straw mushrooms in Chinese food. I've had portobellos cooked in a way that I did not gag when I ate them. That was fine. But my mom would get those giant button mushrooms when I was a kid, and she'd take the caps off and put them in a blender with Italian sausage and basil and pine nuts. And they smelled fucking great. The whole house smelled awesome. And I'd take a bite and I'd just want to hurl because it's just all that mushroom flavor, just all up front. Give me everything that's inside it. I'll eat that by the spoonful. But the mushroom itself just was too mushroomy for me.
It is pretty assertive.
You would definitely hate my diet right now.
A lot of mushrooms?
Well, certain things break up in the food processor better, and mushrooms and yeah. I ate a lot of mushroom pate, basically.
I mean, if I was dying, if I'm on Spike's desert island and that's what there is to eat, I'm gonna be a mushroom eating motherfucker. But given the choice between mushrooms and anything else, I'm going plan B. I'm going to what's behind door number 2. Yeah. But it was funny when I did that cook-off in Portland, one of the ingredients was mushrooms in the sauce because they did the whole sort of chop style where you have the 4 secret ingredients. And it was lemons, mushrooms, what else do we have? Lemon, mushroom, and 2 other things that escape me at the moment because I can't remember. I have a bad case of CRS disease, which is can't remember shit. Yeah, as I get older. No, I forget things from last August.
Me too.
But yeah, mushrooms turned out to be one of the ingredients, and I thought, of course, mushrooms are an ingredient. And I leaned into it. I could have put one little mushroom in it, but I scooped that whole pile of mushrooms into my sauce and made a very tasty thing with them that I actually liked the flavor of. And you could taste the mushrooms. I thought if that's a secret ingredient, if you shy away from it, that's a good way to lose, right? Is if the people blind tasting it know that's in there but can't taste it. Again, back to it should be a thoughtful ingredient that you can taste thing. But yeah, it's just more for you. But I am interested in what your sauce comes out to be.
Scott, yeah. We're interested to know what that is too. But Scott, I was gonna, I want to send you sauces, and I'm just thinking about the fact that you don't like the red jalapeno, and that is literally my favorite pepper. So I do use it a lot. So, what do you like?
Oh God, all kinds of things.
Sauce?
So let me rephrase the red jalapeno thing. On a scale of red jalapeno to truffles, I'm way more into the red jalapeno, right? So I've had red jalapeno sauces that were successful that I actually enjoyed very much. And I'll be the first to say that even though I probably wouldn't use them in a sauce, I have had a lot of sauces I liked a lot, very successful products. So please, if you have a red jalapeno sauce that you absolutely love, send it to me, and chances are I'm going to enjoy it because it's probably a really well-made sauce, and I'd be stupid to just discount it.
Have you had our smoked onion? That's usually the one that people have had.
No, you mean? I'm kidding. No, so yes, right.
No, you just hollow out the onion itself.
I have smoked onions, and I've had smoked Vidalia sauce, and I really enjoyed that as well. Onions are one of my favorite flavors. There are onions in all my sauces of different styles. I have dried onion and powdered onion and fresh onion, and
Really, you don't have motherfuckers being like, "Ew,
I have had a few of those.
Bitch,
yes,
I
have a couple people who have come up, same like the garlic. Are there onions in these? You have one with no onion? I'm like, I have a less oniony one, and I have a more oniony one. Take your choice. And they're like, I hate onions. Well, I'm sorry your childhood was so bad. It's that kind of thing. Again, and people probably look at me like that when I talk about olives and mushrooms, right? Is we all have our thing, and some people love certain flavors, some people like certain flavors less. So yeah, by all means, please let me trade with you because I love sending stuff and receiving stuff. So we'll get together after this and we'll do a trade. You'll get in the queue behind the 30 sauces that I have yet to open that I feel bad about. See the look that Zac gave when he saw the Ghost of Saffron wasn't opened yet? Yeah, that's because it's in queue. It's on my count. When it makes it to the counter, that means the next step is to open it. So yeah.
Well, this is a perfect segue into our hot sauce show and tell.
Yeah.
Who makes Co-Conspirator? That's one other company.
Phenomenal sauce.
Is that
That's
you?
me.
This is yours? Oh, it's open.
Yeah.
I can try this one now.
Oh, I love that sauce. That is a good sauce.
All right, let's crack open this piece of shit. I mean, this sauce. I hope the spoon's the right way up. See, Zac was very generous, sent me a bunch of sauces. Made me feel like a dick because I sent him 4 and he sent me 8, and I thought that was fucked up.
Yeah, can we see it?
Yeah, can you put it up to the camera real quick?
The
bottle.
How much do I have to eat? A whole teaspoon? I'll go a whole teaspoon.
Nah, you whatever you want, man.
It's really good.
The sauce. There
we go. Yeah, I like that sauce.
Cool label.
Lot.
Nice.
It's got a bunch of cool shit on it. I think that those pineapple rings, they kind of look like an 8.
Yep.
Yeah. Why is it called Co-Conspirator?
Because it's a collaboration with our local
co-op.
without
spilling it on my fucking keyboard. So that's what the sauce looks like.
Nice.
It is a viscous sauce, which I love. Smells great. Go on, co-op.
I used to work at the co-op. Actually, High Desert was formed at this co-op. I would make sauce at home, and I would bring it to all the. You put a label. You know how it is. So this past year, it was like 2 years ago, whatever. It was our 50th anniversary, and they're like, "Make us a 50th anniversary sauce." And I said, "I got you." So
nice.
That.
Well, it smells.
It's got fire.
That's awesome.
Fantastic. The aroma is very earthy, tangy green sauce, which I really like. There's a lot of kind of particulates, a lot of speckles in there. We love speckles. My dogs are idiots. Shut your pie hole. So let's try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's delicious. It's got a little more kick than I expected out of a verde.
It's got chiltepine in it. That's what those little red things are on the label.
The mouth feels fantastic. Yeah. There's a lot of chunks to it, which I love. I like a salsa style sauce. When I first started making sauce, my goal was to make kind of a salsa. And so in California, we have the sort of California Mexican style cuisine. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of molcajete style sauces, like the fresh ground peppers and oils and whatever they put in them. And I loved that texture, and I wanted to have a lot of body in my sauces. So I went for pretty much this exact texture. This is a fantastic sauce. This is one of those sauces. Shut it. Hey, head, move. This is one of those sauces that I tasted and I think, fuck, I wish I made this sauce. That's when I know I love a sauce, is when I'm a little jealous that I didn't actually produce the sauce. So yeah, definitely to those viewers out in the audience, if you get a chance to try Co-Conspirator.
It's probably one of my more underrated products.
I agree. Honestly. Everyone, I have tried Ghost of Saffron before. I've just not opened this bottle. But everyone talks about that one, and rightly so. That's a great sauce. But definitely more people should be talking about this one for sure. It's super underrated. Excellent sauce.
Yeah. I mean, so I don't know how long it's been since you had Ghost of Saffron. I definitely kind of tweaked the recipe, like pulled some of the saffron.
This is the newer one, because that's when you sent it to me. Is because I mentioned that I hadn't tried it since you tweaked it. So I tried the other version. Yeah. I haven't tried this one yet.
Okay, so it's more balanced now.
There's my show and tell.
Claire, what did you bring? Oh, I'm sorry.
I brought this is one of my husband's sauces, so I haven't had this one yet. Chile lengua de fuego.
Very nice. I've seen that one.
And this is their turmeric bomb, and it's obviously it's got some turmeric. It's got a lot of different peppers, Scotch bonnet and chocolate ghost, jalapeno. It's got some Carolina Reaper, Trinidad Scorpion. It's made in Honduras. It also has Honduran hard liquor, which I find is an interesting. Yeah. Like I don't know what that is. I'm curious. Yeah, like really
brown rum.
So the thing about turmeric. It's got to be something like that. Mm. But turmeric's a funny one for me because my mom is a huge health nut. California, she lives in Emeryville, and she's just obsessive about all healthy things. And if like a tablespoon of that healthy thing is good, then like a cup of it's even better. And so she goes on about turmeric all the time. She puts turmeric in her coffee, and so we have children, and so we have stain-free couches that like won't hold a stain. The only thing that besides Sharpies, the only thing that they don't guarantee it won't hold a stain about is turmeric. So we have to tell my mom that she's not allowed to drink coffee on our couch. I
actually started using turmeric in a couple of prototype sauces, and it's a funny ingredient where 1 grain too much sends it way over the top, and it's all turmeric at that point in your palate. Yeah. But just enough is really delicious.
Well, and I like putting it in mustard, obviously, but I feel like it takes mustard into a different realm. Like we do seedy mustards, turmeric to it, and you're like, ooh, yellow mustard.
Will you send me a seedy mustard with our trade? Yes, I love mustard.
Yeah,
as much as I dislike, I dislike truffles. That's how much I love mustard. Yes, I'm a huge mustard guy.
Yeah.
So I adore mustard, and I feel like there is not I've said this before on the podcast. There is not the mustard fandom that there is around hot sauce, and I want that to exist because, like, I don't know if you've done much mustard making. Mustard is hard. Like hot sauce is empowering, and mustard is humbling. Like you think you know it, and you think you're like, I got this. I know how to make mustard, and then it's like,
a little bit here and there, and it is definitely challenging. One amusingly, my brown label is the mustard chipotle. And I use mustard flour. It's not like I pour mustard, like Golden's mustard into it. I use just ground mustard seed. Yeah. It's just mustard flour. And I entered in, it's won a bunch of first places for Chipotle in Zest Fest in Texas. It's one in Albuquerque. It's one all over the place. I entered the International Flavor Awards, and I entered medium hot sauce because it's a medium hot sauce. And I got an email, and it said, congratulations on your first place International Flavor Award. I went, oh shit, cool. I'm looking at the list and I don't see my hot sauce. I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? So I scroll down. Well, awards curators sometimes will relocate your sauce to another category if they feel it's suitable to that. And all awards do that. Apparently they saw mustard on the label. It says mustard chipotle, and he put it in the mustard category, and it won first place for mustard, which I guess I'm an award-winning mustard maker now, which is I don't think I am. I felt bad for the mustard companies that I beat with a hot sauce. Like that seemed kind of shitty. But would you quit scratching my leg and licking me? That's not appropriate. But yeah, so that's my one award-winning mustard. But yeah, I have always wanted to make like a whole seed German style mustard, and I've played with it a little bit, and it's really hard. I have made to date, I've made a bunch of crap, and one that was slightly less crappy than the other ones that I actually used a whole jar of. But I wouldn't sell it. It was too crappy to sell. It did not stand up to any of the.
That one hit you hard.
This one caught me a little bit by surprise. Yep. I mean, it shouldn't have given what's in it, but like, it was like, ooh, that's hot. But then I was like, oh wait, that's hot. All those different peppers, and then the ginger too is just really ginger hits in a different way, and so I always love like playing with that.
I love ginger. Mix. Ginger's another spice. It's a tipping point.
I really like that.
One grain too much of ginger. Yeah. It's too much ginger.
Zach, what did you bring?
I just brought some Pullman Acres.
Oh, very nice. I have that one as well.
Garlic. I think I shouted it out once already. I'm not opening it. I have too many fucking bottles of open sauce that I will probably never eat.
I brought
the Old Bay. I have not tried that one yet, believe it or not. And Old Bay, that's
so KDB, sure. You know, KDB Saucy, she sent this to me as a gift. Yep. She's so sweet. And So I'm all set up. It has a
I see the flow restrictor
on it, which I'm not happy about, but I'm going to give
the flow restrictor has another name. It's not as polite sounding. It's the orifice reducer. Yes, I love that name.
Orifice reducer.
Sounds dirty.
Yeah. Or Zach calls it the fun
I call
stopper.
it the first thing I flick the fuck off when I open a bottle of anything. So
yeah.
No.
This is really good. It is very salty, but it's salty in a way that I think would work with a lot of
what
foods.
Is the sodium level on that sauce? I'm curious. 140?
200 milligrams,
I think.
160. I'm feeling the hypertension from here.
Yeah. But it's the celery seed is really
that's what I've heard about. It's very celery forward.
First and
or celery seed forward.
Yeah, it's just a cayenne sauce with celery in it, basically. Nice. But I love it.
Yeah, I mean that's Bay Area's Old Bay's backyard, pretty much. I mean, I know it's kind of an East Coast thing, but Fisherman's Wharf, everywhere out there, always had Old Bay seasoning on every table. Yeah, everywhere growing up.
What and Old Bay had a Pride hot sauce, which for owned by McCormick, remarkable. That's just like that stands out and it's pretty awesome.
I didn't know that. That's fantastic.
Yeah. It was the only one I could find when we started ours. So.
At this juncture, I will ask you, do you have any questions?
I have none questions for y'all, except I'll need your email address so that we can do our little Trado thing. I already have y'all's sauces, but I would love to get some from Claire that I have not tried. Feel free again to send me a red jalapeno. I want to see what you do with it. Maybe you'll turn me. Maybe I'll become the world's biggest red jalapeno fan. Wouldn't that be something?
And then I've got to send you a chipotle sauce too, because we smoke our own chipotles, it's so I wonder where that would fall in your judgment,
my judgy chipotle thing. Yeah,
where
we'll find out.
Your judgy chipotle thing. Yeah, exactly.
Chipotle sauces, which is my challenge with the Merita chipotle, is it's got a lot of red jalapeno sweetness. So depending how acidic it is, if it's more acidic, I'm probably gonna love it. If it's less acidic and more sweet, maybe not.
That's interesting. I'll choose that carefully, because that was actually something for me. I felt like with Chipotles, everybody was always sweetening them when I moved to New England, and it drove me nuts. But our main Chipotle sauce is our maple rum Chipotle. No, I'm going to send you our rum barrel fermented. I'll never hear that phrase without
thinking of the joke, the pirate that walks into the bar, and he's got the steering wheel sticking out of his crotch, and the bartender says, "Hey, you got a steering wheel sticking out of your crotch?" And the pirate says, "Arr, it's driving me nuts." See, every time. Sorry, it's a terrible joke. I feel like I owe you a better joke.
Spike, if you end up coming to Albuquerque to film content for the podcast, he will be there, and you should go watch this dude in action. Like, Market Scott is.
I wear a stadium buddy, so I piss myself during the show. No, I don't. I'm not that full blown. No, depends. No, I do go to the bathroom from time to time, but yeah, I do get pretty caffeinated out there and go to town.
Yeah, he gets caffeinated, and he. Dude, like, it's just fun to watch.
I appreciate that. What's funny is I'm kind of an introvert.
Awesome.
You don't get good at making hot sauce, as you guys know, by being extroverted. Like, my favorite thing is to tell everybody to fuck off, go to my kitchen and play with peppers and spices. That's what I really enjoy doing. It calms my soul. That's my happy place. Yeah. So when I'm in a festival and I've got 8 people wide by 3 people deep clamoring for demos, and then they just don't stop for 7 hours, like New York Hot Sauce Expo or like Albuquerque in the heyday. Inside, I feel like, get away from me, everybody, get away from me. But outside, I'm very much, I just embrace it. I figure, well, fuck it, I'm here, you're here, let's go, right? And so I can put on that kind of, I don't want to say a mask because it is me being, but I would rather be anywhere else in that moment. It's a weird thing to describe.
Yeah, exactly.
To me, it's a little cringy feeling.
I get it,
but it comes off very naturally because I am very natural with people. I like people. It's a love-hate thing, right? It's hard to.
Yeah. I get it, man. Because I too, I'm introverted. I don't want to hang out. I had people ask me if I wanted to bunk together at Albuquerque. I'm like, no, I want my own space. I don't want to deal with people for 10 fucking hours.
That's exactly. That's why I get a single room Airbnb every time. Yep, or one little. Yep. Cottage or whatever, like a 1-bedroom cottage, because I just want to fuck off to my quiet place, not talk to anybody for another till tomorrow, and then I'm all good. Like recharge my battery, come back out, do it all over again. Exactly.
Yeah. No,
I kind of am because I don't take a lot of vacations. That's the one thing I miss a lot about my old day job is I actually would take 4 or 5 weeks off a year for paid vacation. And I haven't had a vacation in like a real vacation in years, but I do go on trips to Portland and to Albuquerque and the sort of hot sauce pilgrimages. And so I have as much as I can.
Business expense.
And they're write-offs. Yeah. But it is the 2 days driving through the desert. I like driving 40 across California, Mojave, and up into Arizona and into Flagstaff and dropping down into what's the place that's in the Eagles song? He was sitting on a corner in Winslow, Arizona.
Yeah, Winslow.
I dropped down into Winslow.
Yeah.
He's standing on the corner.
Yeah. And I get my coffee at a coffee shop in Winslow I like a lot. They make really good Java. And then bust down into Albuquerque the next day. And then I enjoy all the Albuquerque sort of New Mexican cuisine. Still can't really get into the double starch. It's the Hawaiian food of New Mexico is what it is. When you go to Mexican and instead of beans and rice, you get beans and potatoes. That's a little kind of, where's my rice? Give me some fucking rice. But did have the best chili rellenos there that I've ever had in my life last year at, what was it? The Azul Kit. It was the Kitchen Azul. I can't. The Spanish name for kitchen is, I'm losing my mind. Cochina. It was Cochina Azul. Great old town restaurant, and they did stuffed chili rellenos, and one was stuffed with chili adobada, and the other one was stuffed with brisket and just red and green Christmas sauce all over it. Oh God, they were so good. They were the best I've ever had. So I love that. I love traveling for that, and I have a lot of friends now in that area from doing the festival for 9 years now. This will be my 9th or my 10th year, and so it's just that is my working vacation, and I get to just sort of not answer emails for a week, and then, of course, I'm bad at vacationing, so I do end up answering emails because we do.
Exactly.
I pretend.
I'm going on vacation. I'm going on vacation in about 3 weeks, and I've already told my people, you'll be handling stuff, but I'm still going to be checking emails.
The lies we tell ourselves that I won't check email for a week. Yeah, good luck. Good luck with that.
Yeah, and then we've got the podcast, which I'll be doing on vacation. Well, Scott, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I've been really looking forward to this one, and it did not disappoint.
I appreciate it. It was fun being on. You guys are delightful.
It was really great talking
and now
to
I'm
you,
going to do a trade
Scott.
and get more stuff to eat. So life is good.
Flavor Balance Heat, the podcast for hot sauce lovers and makers, was brought to you by Butterfly Bakery of Vermont, High Desert Sauce Co., and Irish Spike's unique hot sauces and Vandal pepper sauces. This has been a Spike Mind Media production.